Morning, guys. Welcome. It is Tuesday. It's a little bit later, 8:23. And yeah, let's obviously go through what is happening in the markets this morning. So one thing that is being priced in with the escalation is hope. All right. It isn't that there's talks. Trump has, even said that there's a agreement talks, but that there was a, ship which was attacked on the Strait of Hormuz, and so it's been, markets look like they're pricing in hope as opposed to actual ceasefire agreements. And so that's obviously one thing that we've got to be aware of, if anything is agreed, then obviously expect oil to come back down into these previous areas here, where it was, it's a nice comfortable area. The fact it's still trading above 80 is still, to me, means that we're pricing in hope. So I've got a few things to go over this morning. So we'll go over these things. Then obviously we'll hop on to the charts. So other one is yields. So again, these are the two charts that we've really got to watch today, because these are going to be driving the dollar. All right, if yields hold, and then kind of keep bouncing off this area, then we could see it obviously close the gap that was created on market open. There's lots of things basically, macro wise, supporting the dollar at the lows that it's at. All right, and obviously this is one level of support here, because markets obviously pricing hope, not actual hard agreements, and obviously we've got to always look at what's been kind of what you've got to look at with trading. Anything that's been written down, so documented the data, signed agreements, anything that's been kind of written, yeah, on paper, that's what we can treat as fact. Anything else is what we would call hype and hope. So that's obviously one thing to be aware of. Yes, we've got all these de-escalation talks happening, but markets aren't telling us that, because the de-escalation wise, yields would minimum be trading here. All right, because obviously when escalation happened, we had this big move here. All right, de-escalations happen, we've had this little move here. All right, and, so it's not, and that's not to say that we're not going to obviously have de-escalation. I really hope it happens. But obviously, that's not what's being priced in. And again with oil, we know anything above 80 is a risk of inflationary worries. All right, so these two charts, oil and yields, we really need to keep an eye on, you know, today. And obviously, that's what's giving kind of dollar a bit of this tailwind. We were pretty much bang on yesterday, and we obviously marked this up yesterday morning, and obviously said it's going to struggle to break through here. So if we have a look at the daily, yes, it's gapped to the downside, come down and test 99,500 yesterday. But however, we did have a nice recovery day in there at the end. Probably going to have, if I was to hazard a guess, I do think we're actually going to push a bit higher. Um, I'm going to guess we're going to finish today probably somewhere, well, somewhere around here. That's where I think today we're going to finish. Not we might even come up and breach here, but there needs to be something happening. So this week for the US dollar, the main thing to kind of take into consideration is jobs. All right. So, the employment data is, so key. There's a 67% chance that they're going to raise interest rates coming into, September. So that's obviously what we've got to be kind of pricing in. So in regards to obviously them raising interest rates, this is the other thing that we've got to keep an eye on is that it's going to limit the downward, movement of the dollar. Yeah. All right. So because we've got, yields, slightly higher. All right. Or holding, we've got oil climbing. Yeah. We've got the fact that they're going to keep or raise interest rates that's going to encourage more external investment into the US dollar. So the dollar is really kind of capped here hard. I would be surprised if dollar breaks through here. All right, I'd be very, very, surprised. But anywhere in this area, need to be looking to buy. All right, so I'm going to go on this basis because there's limited downside on the dollar. I am going to be, looking to buy. So that is my kind of, plan here. So. Yeah, that's gonna be my outlook for today. So the next one as well. I had a little look into the yen intervention yesterday, and it's really messy. This is the goal here. All right, let me just make this a bit bolder. This 155 is the big goal. All right, that's where they want it trading, and then ideally they want it trading between 152 and 155 from obviously and some of the research that I've done. All right, so don't look to obviously buy yen on a longer term time frame because this area here, that's their goal of where they want it to kind of come into. Now, one thing you should know about Asia, they're very, very patient. So as long as they can see it rolling over in the kind of mid term to kind of this area, they're gonna be happy, So don't expect it today or tomorrow to pump here. All right, they might, let it drift out. The other kind of key level for yen is one, to 60. Anything above here, right? If we mark this line as red. So anywhere above here is kind of danger, So that's one thing to kind of take it into consideration. Yeah. So just obviously being aware they're kind of happy anywhere in this area. All right. They do want long term to push it down back down into this area. But obviously, anything above here, you're going to see those, sharp candles which we've had in the past because there's a lot of, selling pressure if we get above this 160 area. And for those of you who don't know who trade GBP, JPY, or JPY, USD JPY is the main driver, yeah, right, and then it will drive the others. The only one that doesn't act quite as aggressively is Swiss yen, but all of the others, if USD JPY is down, it's going to drag everything down. If USD JPY is taking a break, it's going to push everything else up. Yeah. All right. So just that's why even if you don't trade USD JPY, and you trade Yeah, like I said, GBP JPY is quite common. Euro JPY. Even if you only trade those are the ones that you should really be keeping a little bit of an eye on your USD JPY and adding it as an extra confluence. So yeah, if you're trying to buy GBP JPY, it's USD JPY is trending to the upside. Add that in as one of your reasons why. All right, but for example, if you're trying to sell it, all right, and USD JPY like it is this morning is driving to, to the upside, that might be half a reason why you don't want to take it, or rather than targeting a intraday trade, you might try a smaller one. So you might try and you know um, buy it just up into this area here. So or sell it just down into this area here. Yeah. So just utilize that. Confluence is so important. I think it is, something that I underestimated when I was beginning to trade was, you need reasons why. And obviously that's one thing that my mentor really, really focused on more than anything was he was like, you need, three to ideally five reasons why you're going to five reasons why you're going to take any trade. That's obviously the important things to have on any trade. When obviously we have those head off moments, and it's normally on gold. When we obviously have those head off moments, we go down to that 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, and our only confluence would be one candle here, or if just want to buy it, and that there'd be no reason why. If you've always got five reasons why, I promise you will be more profitable because it's going to cut out all those crappy trades. So right, starting off, right, we're going to be buying. Starting off to today. Let's have a look at Aussie. I am going to be staying away from gold at the moment, but we'll mark it up. We'll do Aussie, we'll do gold, and then we'll do GBP and Euro USD. But obviously, depending on where gold is, might be staying away. So always mark up previous daily high, previous daily, lows. Yeah, right. That's obviously going to give you that idea of where price could potentially go to. And then obviously we've got our Asian high. Let's start using a bit of a different color here. So let's use yellow. And then we've got our Asian low here. All right. So we're going to play this a little bit safer. All right. I like that, I guess, trend was trending to the upside here. And obviously this is our 2 hour time frame here, but we've broken lower here. All right. We've wicked out lower. We've had candles lower. So potentially a downtrend is kind of happening here. So I like the idea of being on this Asian high. All right. Collecting from here. And then hopefully pushing down to the downside. But obviously we're going to allocate enough. So something like this. So see, we might be dropping it down a little bit further, but I'd like our 20 pip range that we normally have. So let's now have a look at where we are here. Let's go 2.225 and 4.25. Where does that get us? Is that a bit tight? No, I'm pretty happy with this because what that should do, we're going to make everything a little bit smaller. So let's have a 20 pip stop. How does that work? And potentially a 50 pip TP. Where does that work? Yep, happy. We're above yesterday's high. Obviously, if that breaks, then we, know that obviously prices are going to be going the other way. And then obviously we're targeting yesterday's daily. I'm going to do everything yellow for now, and then I'll change it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so move this one there, red. So this would be our entry number 3, entry number 2, entry number 1. There we go. And then we're going to have probably TP1. I want it a little bit tighter because we were quite close yesterday. We have actually only had USD JPY yesterday. And then we got entry number 2. So these are, oh, sorry, TP1, TP2. All right, those are our areas here. So right, let's just put this in. This is AUD USD. Mm-hmm. AUD USD. Now we're going with the dollar here because I do feel like with everything happening, downside is capped, but we are allocating, well, worst case, a bit of a push, before we have that continuation. Right, let's have a quick look at gold here. There's a wasp here and it's massive. Go away. Go away. Right. I hate wasps. Don't know where it's gone, but I've got bright green shorts on for anyone who's wondering why we wish I had worn them. Right, go. He's hanging around here. 8 hour. Wow. So that is also Asia. Sorry, let's go to the daily. I've marked that wrong. So previous today is here. Previous day is here. So and go- gold is trying to want this wasp to go away. So we've got our highs daily, our lowers there. So currently trading within, Asia, obviously. Um, I don't think we're going to break out of this daily. I think everything's going to stay. I think de-escalation is going to send it down. But then obviously we've also got inflation worries, which is going to keep gold up. So there's no kind of clear direction at the moment. Gold seems to be struggling to want to break below 4K. That's quite a key kind of area. And it's, struggling. If we look at a higher time frame here, gold is actually being squeezed. So if we look at gold here, it's 100% being squeezed. Squeeze means prices getting tighter. Yeah. All right. So if I just extend this a little bit more, just a little bit more there. Yeah. There we go. So what ends up happening, when you squeeze, price gets tighter, 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 and then we get a massive slingshot either way. All right. So I do feel like it's kind of building because yeah, even me, I'm confused about where to kind of take it, but I would be trading off of these 4 levels today. So Asian high, low. Sorry, I'm freaking out because this wasp is hiding from me now. So yeah, you want to be trading in between these areas here. So these are going to be the important ones. If it breaks, you're going to want to take it up to here. If it breaks again, potentially to this high, and then it should come back down. Potentially here, or it might bounce. You want to be looking on 15. And then obviously you can trade between these areas here. But obviously, Friday's low and yesterday's low have held massively. It's rebounded right there well, way up. That's why I made that good call yesterday about it. Reaching obviously Asian low yesterday, and that's exactly what happened. It rebounded off of the Friday daily low. Um, Also have a bit of a look at what's been happening. So, Asia pretty small, London big, New York traded within London. Yeah, right. Asia here, probably pretty similar to what it was yesterday. So we might see these dailies probably to a bit of a T actually. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, if we look at that's well, Asia traded a bit more. So I'm expecting London or New York to break out either way, So I actually think Asia's gonna be that telltale point to, it's either gonna be a trade which will be down here, this trade here, right? Or it's going to be a trade where we're going to be trading up here and then, seeing obviously what's happening, you know. Um, because these two are going to be key. Because as Asia's small, we know that London should out trade Asia. It's just which way it's going to go. And obviously, if we're strengthening the dollar, you could also have another trade where if we pop up here, we could take it down to yesterday's daily, low here, which would be the ideal trade. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens here. Right, moving on to GBP USD here. I'll blast these ones out because I'm aware I do drag these on while I'm out here, but obviously hopefully you guys enjoy hearing me waffling on. But yeah, right. So that is obviously yesterday's daily high, daily low. And then we've got very, very small Asia. I'm going to box this because I think it'd probably be better. So we're currently breaking out, but struggling. I actually do think we should see a bit of downside here, but I'm going to trade it pretty tight. So I'm going to mark up our 20 pips anyway. So I've got a good range. So let's just mark this up first. I'm going to take out that because I can remember where it is, make it a bit cleaner. I don't want to be too much higher, actually, if I'm honest, but I think I quite like that. Uh, 4-4 and then forward 6. So we're allowing for a tiny bit of a pump up. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to make this trade a bit smaller. So something like this. There we go. Right. 1, 2, 3, oh, 4, 5. There we go. Right. Let's make this a little bit smaller. I'll change all the colors in a minute. Like that. There we go. TP's there. I like the idea of having our TP1 probably in the middle of these range of candles here. Right. So this is our stop here. That's why it's red. This is our entry 3, entry 2, entry 1. Just want this to pop up one more time. And then obviously we've got TP1, TP2. So I'm going to put that one in. BTUSD, sell, trade, idea. Get any questions in if you want to ask questions. It's happy to obviously answer. Right, and then euro, the last one. So euro here. Let's do something similar to give us a bit of an outlook here on what's going to happen. So we've got previous daily high, previous daily low. I've added these in because I want everyone to get in a bit of a routine here. I'm going to mark this in a box because it's very, very small. So I'll mark this in a box here. There we go. And then we'll have a look on a 2 hour here as to what is potentially going to happen. We'll do our 20 pips. Mark, I think I know where that is, so that's absolutely fine. We're going to target the Asian high, but I might go a little bit lower depending on where everything is. I quite like that though. I do like this, so I'm going to leave it where it is. And then let's make this one a bit. I think your euro, if it's going to go, it's going to go quite big. So we can probably allocate potentially a little bit more. Something like this. There we go. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For anyone who asks, obviously, or who's confused about, how the trades are laid out, these are the prices here. I think it's quite, try and obviously make it as easy as I can for you guys. So hopefully it's quite easy to understand. Your yellow are obviously entries, red is obviously stop, and green. I'm gonna have to have TP1 at the daily low. I know it'll previous daily low. I know it's a bit tight, but I'd rather take some profits, move stops. If this breaks, then obviously we've got a free run down. So this is the last trade here. So Euro USD trade. Oh, sell trade idea. There we go. All right, so that's where we're at. Right. Um, let's have a look here. So dollar down, JPY is down. Isn't it time for gold and BTC to jump? Well, BTC is all hype. All right, it's not driven, all right? And for anyone who tells you it's driven by anything, it is not. All right, the whole crypto market is driven by hype. All right, so the only time that I think BTC will start to pump will be close to the halving, but which I can't remember whether it's this March, this March coming. So just, but I think yeah, don't ever look at old dollar is down, so Bitcoin's pumping because if we go on dollar on a daily, look at this crash here. All right. Well, why has Bitcoin not absolutely rocketed? All right. And this just proves that it is not related at all. So yeah, the Bitcoin is all hype. All right. Once you start to, see it more, once the right people are obviously speaking about it more, that's when you buy. All right. But yeah, and gold, what kind of, what you have to always be thinking about gold is it's the reason why anyone would choose to buy it. All right. Gold is a hedging asset. It always is. It always will be. It's not bought to kind of make money through hedge funds. It is bought to hedge. All right. So when bad things happen, like, I don't know if you guys can remember Russia, Ukraine kicked off, it went crazy. Um, you know, times like that when there's uncertainty, what's the stock market gonna do? Gold obviously pumps. Look at the stock market currently. We've got US 100 up 0.5%, SPX 500 up. We got US 30 up. If you also zoom out, all right. We have got, US 30, the top 30 valued companies in the US at all-time highs. For gold to pump and pump properly, these have got to be trading down here, like they were, kind of, yeah, February, you know, March. But obviously, these stock markets, everyone makes more money through stocks, so they would much rather put a billion into a company than they would gold. All right, because gold is that, it's that long term trading asset. It's the oldest asset probably in the world. It's a global currency. You could have gold anywhere in the world and it'd be worth something. So it's that kind of hedging assets. So yeah, hopefully that's helped and obviously explained why it might potentially not pump. Are you doing all these trades yourself? Because I thought you said you would stay away from AUD USD. Yep, no, I'm happy with Aussie where it is today. I like to take three, and I don't want to. I don't think gold has got enough. Yeah, yeah. Gold's not going to be the only driver here. Aussie has its own economy, but obviously a pound is strong because yields are up, oil's up. That's going to kind of strengthen the dollar a bit more than Aussie. Remember obviously where China get all their oil from too. Lots of it is Iranian oil. That's why they've been quite vocal about this war. This is obviously affecting the Chinese economy. Now Aussie and China are key trade partners. All right. So, any key trade partner, if their economy is bad, naturally the prices are going to be more expensive. So then obviously that's going to reflect on their key trade partners too. So yeah. Right. Last one here. James, if we hit TP1, do we to take it or hold then go to break even? So this is all personal choice, and I like to kind of build a week up, so it's not going to load, but so I'd like to kind of slowly, if this is my aggression chart, all right, Monday to Friday, yeah, right, I will be less aggressive Monday. And if you imagine, if this is my, say, my profit chart, yeah, all right. And so if I bank some good profits Monday, Tuesday, then naturally I'm going to be more aggressive, yeah, because I'm not playing with, before I'm not playing with my capital here. I'm playing with my profit, a bit like yesterday. I went for it a bit, yeah, yesterday afternoon, but I'm not playing with my capital here. I'm playing with my profit. And obviously, if the week starts to go, and you build it nicely, Monday's good, Tuesday's good, Wednesday's good, Thursday's good, then Friday, right? All you're going to be risking is, potentially this profit here. So yeah, you can really go for it. But you want to try and make sure Monday, Tuesday's building your kind of platform. All right. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we can, really pan shakes. We don't want to be risking our capital. We want to be risking profits. And the more obviously profits you've got, as long as you don't risk them all, normally if you have a good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll kind of start to go for it a bit Thursday, Friday. But yeah, that's how I would gear up my week. But right, I'm gonna end it here. Um, I hope everyone has a great Tuesday, and yeah, let's make sure we're staying in our routine, staying on point, and we smash it. So have a good one, team. Have a good one.